Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new live session of the Fivers Futures. I am Dave, your host, and we are ready to get into these charts. I hope you've been having a great week. And as usual, let me know how you're doing. Let me know where you're watching us from. And do not forget to like. Today, hopefully, is going to be an interesting and fun session. We're going to see what we can get into. We've been having some interesting movements in the market so far. So let's see what we can get into. We'll definitely do some live trading. We'll analyze those charts and hopefully we can find some clean, good setups to trade those all-time highs. All right, and as usual, I will have my co-host Steve joining me in a few. So in the meantime, let us see what we can get into. All right, so right here I have the Nasdaq pulled up. Just zoom out a little bit. Yesterday, so this is the whole session from yesterday. Yesterday we saw. Let's just zoom in. Yesterday we ended the session break even because we didn't catch the setup fast enough, and we caught it kind of, we were in a little bit late, and I have to say, I have to be honest, I was leaning a little bit bearish. All right, we got Game Show in the house. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Welcome back. By the way, Game Show, where are you watching us from? I don't know if I've asked a question, but I'm here in the US, we have people in Europe, we have people in India, we have people all around the world watching us, and it would be fun to know where Game Show is watching us from. Just take a quick note here. All right. So yesterday, what was the setup? We had the opening range. So let me just get this out of the way. As usual, you guys know I like to trade the opening range. Game Show saying you could look at gold. It broke a trend line on the M5 time frame. Definitely gonna look at gold just in one sec. Yeah, so we broke out of the range. We pulled back into the 50% area of the range. So the correct entry would have been there. Unfortunately, we didn't get that one, but that would have been a decent risk, 1 to maybe 1.5 risk to reward trade if you got in here, and then your exit, your first target would have been here. And if you held overnight, well, you could have gotten paid really well. So we're going to see what we can get into today. We have Game Show mentioning gold. So let's start with gold. Why don't we do that? Let's start with the GC futures contract. Zoom out a little bit. So gold has been on a tear since yesterday, right? We gave different scenarios, or I'm gonna go back into the scenarios we gave yesterday. But right now, if I'm looking into the past weeks, we are back into that inflection area practically that we talked about around 47. So 47.50 is the inflection area, but we're reaching there. So as usual, we're going to have a longer term view and then gradually zoom into the charts. So I had the 10-year futures pulled up there that I was comparing to the Nasdaq, but let me look at gold. Gold, GC. All right. Let's just get the volume profile out of the way. So yesterday we had we had some scenarios. I think, oh man, I deleted them. All right, so we had the bullish case, the bearish case, and well, we had the bearish case intraday, and then we completely reversed from that area, which if you zoomed out on a hourly chart, this box right here was a very interesting fair value gap, which I pointed out. So that one was an interesting one. Now we've completely recovered. If anybody caught that, that was an insane move. Just fix my screen right there. My screen is kind of to the side. Can't fully see everything. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. I think that's better. All right. So what was the run up on that? That was about 173 points. And full disclosure, guys, I was short from here yesterday, and this caught me completely off guard. My wrist was tight, so I got stopped out, but I did not catch this. I wasn't watching the market when this happened. All right, so game show saying we broke a trend line on the 5-minute. Now we have different considerations to take into different things to take into considerations, right? We're gonna have different trend lines here. So we really ran up really fast, right? So when that happens, and I like to talk about the speed of the move, the speed of price, this was insanely fast, right? So as usual, we have to kind of revert back to the mean before we continue to move up. So if we measure this move from here to here, that's about 178 points. So our midpoint would be 4650 more or less, right? And if we pull up the volume profile, so our point of control would be right there around 4710, okay? Now we're trading below the point of control, but we're still above VWAP, so on average we're still bullish. We're pushing lower, but the trend that we're going to look at different trends here. So I'm going to switch to a line chart as usual, higher time frame. And I don't need these lines anymore. So let's get these out of the way. We have two trends to look at. This is the uptrend, right? Which we broke down from. And then we have a few possibilities here. But before I continue, what I want to do is kind of zoom out and see where we are at overall, right? So let's look at the daily. And, whoa, sorry, let's get this out of the way. I don't need these levels anymore. That was my alert for my stop. Probably close. Okay, so we've moved back up, and you see that I have this trend here, and we've almost tapped into this high, which corresponds to this pocket right here, right? Now, a few things to consider. We were on a multi-day down move. Just 1 second. All right, Steve telling me he'll be here in about 15. Yeah, so we're zooming out and we're looking at this on a higher time frame. This is a daily chart, right? So what we might possibly be doing here, we pulled up, we moved back down, we formed a what we could call a double bottom, and we're pushing higher. So overall, higher time frame, we can expect this to continue to push higher, right? So with that in mind, we're going to zoom in and look at possible scenarios out. Now, if this moves higher, there are many areas where we could retest. We could retest the bottom of this resistance right here for a move lower. We could continue to move higher and go test those highs on the daily time frame, and we could even go higher and go test maybe that inflection area or below there. So with that in mind, okay, with an overall bullish bias, I would say maybe 70-30 for today, unless we're taking a small pullback. Let's zoom in. Let's look at the hourly. We don't need this for now. So on the hourly chart, we are pulling back. Now, this is a very nice trend break, right? And usually here are the scenarios you'd expect from something like this. If we are bullish, so the bullish case as usual, we moved up, we broke trend, we can oscillate in the 30, maybe I would say the upper quarter of the move and go revert back to the upside. What would happen is we would touch this area here, we would move back up to go and retest that high. And then here would be a decision making point where, okay, if we have trapped shorts, we continue higher because shorts get squeezed out. So that's scenario one, and that would be the bullish case. So we'll put that one in green. The second scenario would be what? It's actually a clean and a real trend break, and we're probably going to find out once the market opens. I think I'm too close to the camera here. All right. The bearish scenario would be, as usual, we moved up, we broke this this trend line right here. Okay, we'll probably have a little bit of sideways action and then continue the move lower to go retest the 50% of the range, right? So we'll see. So that would be our bearish case. Now, and the neutral case, as usual, since we need to have all the cases, would be, okay, we're not able to find direction quickly. We're not able to find direction during the day. So we go and test the high. The high gets sold again. We go and test the upper end of the range. That gets retested again, which would correspond with that previous high probably. And then we oscillate in between those levels before we are able to catch a direction. And that would be the neutral case. Now, what we need to find out to be able to trade is what is going to happen once we open, keeping those scenarios in mind, right? Keeping those scenarios in mind, but leaning more, at least for now, to the bullish case, right? What do we need to find out? Well, let's zoom in. This is a 5-minute chart. What's going on the 5-minute chart? Now, we're going to hide these scenarios for now. What's going on in the 5-minute chart? Well, we have our first trend, the trend that we broke here, but we have a little micro trend going on here. And this is going to be kind of a line in the sand for us, combined with the levels, the volume profile levels. I have Andre from Brazil. Hey, hey, hey. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Game shows from Brazil. That's true. You know, you told me that. I have so many people watching from different areas. I don't remember everything. I'm going to take notes here. Yeah, game show watching from Brazil. Game show saying it could be just a small to earn higher. A small sale to yeah. That's exactly what I want to get into, right? We have our line in the sand here. That's going to be our what's it called? Our point of control right here in white, right? We broke here. This is the major trend. I mean, this is the micro trend right here. We're going to put this maybe a dash line in yellow so we could see it. So right now, as we broke lower, right, we tried to push higher. We found some rejection here, but we recovered again. So if this is able to break out of this trend, right, and that's confluence number one, we're breaking out of the trend, and we're also touching that point of control, but we're able to push higher, then my best guess is that shorts would get squeezed. Anybody who is short here would not be able to hold, and we would definitely go oscillate and go test those upper higher liquidity levels here. We might get some rejection in this area, but if we do not get the rejection in the area, then we continue to push higher towards those upper 4,700 levels, right? To me, that is the most likely scenario for now, right? But you have to be aware that once you get to this area here, and I'm going to put a circle there. Once you get to this, all right. Once you get to this zone, right, there is definitely liquidity there. So that could be an area where shorts re-enter. We're going to find out and we're going to see what happens. Now, me personally, I like to let price play out before I find the correct setup. But you are welcome to try anything you would like based on what we've discussed here. We have a bullish case, which is this, right? And it's probably going to be tighter because this was on a higher time frame. And we have the bearish case and the neutral scenario. So just keep that in mind while you're trading. What's going on? Yeah, keep that in mind while you're trading today. Keep an open mind and know that the price might react in a different way. Yeah, so this might be a little bit tighter here. Let me just redraw this because this is not ideal. We pull back here, we break out of here, we retest here, we probably go catch liquidity here, and if it's bullish, then we break out and we continue higher. That's the more bullish scenario, of course. But this is going to be the decision maker, right? This area right here is going to be what determines what happens next. Okay. So, all right. I got Sumit Stalker saying short gold, 4-hour fair value gap target. And Game Show saying in your chart where you have that high volume, you had a sell order. Okay, nice. You had a sell order right here. The point of control. Well, yeah, definitely. That's why I'm saying we need to see what happens there, right? Me, I prefer to wait, see what happens, but this point of control, which is the highest point where we've seen selling, we've saw this consolidation here, is an area where shorts could definitely re-enter. So we'll see what happens and determine where to take trades if we do take trades on gold, right? I'm definitely going to be looking at the indices because we had the ADP data come out. We saw a nice reaction. That's the reaction we got there, which kind of changed our trajectory. And I really want to see what happens on the indices. Sumi Stalker saying 4-hour bullish retracement is due. Discount is not achieved. All right, we'll zoom in on the 4-hour and see what we got. And then I hear my doorbell ringing. All right.
Hey, howdy,
Glad
Dave. How's
to
it
hear
going?
that. Good, 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 good. We're doing good. How about yourself?
Awesome, awesome. So glad to be here. I heard us talking gold. I just had to come on in and see what's going on.
Yes, 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 man. It's crazy how many requests we get from traders to talk about gold. Our traders love trading gold. So that's what we've been talking about, looking at different scenarios. We had a massive run yesterday, as you probably are aware of.
hmm
And we had this little reaction here when the news came out, the ADP data. And so yeah, we're looking at the different cases here. What's the bullish case? I always have my 3 scenarios. What's the bullish case, bearish case, neutral case?
Love it.
And that's what we were looking at right now for some intraday setups. And then
Very
I see
cool.
some comments here. 4-hour bullish MSS retracement is due. Discount not achieved. All right, I gotta probably zoom out to kind of see what we're talking about here.
I
But how you
hear
doing,
IT
Steve?
lingo. I'm
Cheers.
doing good. I heard MSS and retracement. I'm like, I know those words. I know some of those words. But
Enlighten me. I know, I have to update myself in the vocabulary because, well, with those ICT concepts
mhm,
and SMT and so many acronyms, so
it's
many
overwhelming.
acronyms.
I remember watching a 25-minute video just describing all the different ICT acronyms, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" All right, yes, a lot of cool information, maybe a little over-engineered some of it. So
Yep.
it might be 4-hour market, or bullish engulfing order block, or you could just say, "Hey, it's an engulfing candle on a high time frame." Either way, it's a great
Got
place
it.
to look for a buy. So when I hear MSS, I'm pretty sure that stands for market structure shift, and
Yeah.
so I'll have to look at that 4-hour chart and take a closer look here. But a bullish market structure shift, so breaking structure to the upside, and retracement is due, discount is not achieved. So when he's talking discount, my understanding of that is if you extrapolate, use the swing low and the swing high as a range, and you just look for that 50%, that equilibrium, as
Hmm.
Mr. ICT himself would call it. You're basically looking to see if it interacts with that lower 50%, that would be trading at a discount of the range. So
Got
if,
it.
if it dips into a discount and finds a really strong buyer, maybe at ICT's, what is he has like the some fair what is it, fair value gap? There you
Fat
go.
Valley Gap. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that would be a good setup for those guys, and I do like it. Yes, some of it stalker saying I do not follow in whole ICT. I have his own concept. Beautiful. I did the same thing. I did
All
his
right.
full course for years, and then I was like, I like it, but I got some other ideas too.
So why do I feel like Summit Stalker? By the way, welcome. Why do I feel like Summit Stalker is screaming at us because he's writing everything in all caps?
It's a little intense. I'm so internet pilled. I
Intense.
didn't even notice. I was like, yes, that's how we talk here.
But welcome, welcome. We love it, Summit Stalker. Welcome to the live, and we're gonna see what we can find.
Mhm. Yeah, good stuff for sure. I need the energy here. That's like an extra shot of espresso there.
Yeah, I'm having my coffee right now, so double shot of espresso. So cheers.
Beautiful. Cheers.
Unfortunately, I can't, send my. I just got some new Ethiopian coffee that I'm
Ooh.
trying out. Yeah,
Nice, nice.
uh,
Ethiopian's that going to be a little bit lighter and a little fruitier in the bouquet there?
it's gonna be a little bit
Lighter.
fruitier, definitely. But I actually am only doing dark roast, so I'm getting
Oh,
nerdy with my coffee these days.
love it.
I got my significant other gifted me an espresso machine, so I've been trying to make those. You know when they make the little drawings and stuff
Yeah,
with the
totally.
milk. So I've been just drinking coffee and trying a bunch of stuff. But I found this Ethiopian coffee that's really really good. I could drink it with no sugar,
Mhm.
nothing. It's smooth, and a little fruity, like you say.
That's the best. I find that those are usually my favorites. I gravitate towards those myself, and it's funny. Just the similarities go on, Dave. My significant other also got me way into coffee,
Nice.
and now I can't go back. I can't do the foam drawings though. I'm still working
No,
on
I
that.
can't do them either. They all look like blobs, but hey.
I'm imagining like I don't know, like some really intricate, like the Mona Lisa or something in there. Dave's like, oh, I don't know, I'm just getting started here. But
Yeah.
by the way,
Oh,
just
man.
I'm pulling up my higher time frame gold chart, and I'm just noting.
Can you share your screen if you
Yes,
can?
absolutely. Give me one moment there.
No problem. Take your time. Sumit Stalker saying I have not placed my order because my setup does not allow me to take the entry here because the second phase liquidity sweep in the 30-minute time frame. Okay, so you basically have
Hey,
seen a liquidity sweep.
I love it. I have to. That's a lot of jargon. I have to think that one through, but it sounds smart. I think I like that.
It does sound smart.
So let me see. Let me know if can you guys see my screen if I do that?
I am just gonna add you right now. Give me one
Sure.
second.
Yeah, no rush at all.
All right, and here we go.
Great. So it's just one thing that I want to highlight. So one system that I really like to use is my trigger system, and basically that is, there's some secret sauce behind the curtain, but the gist is that it represents different cohorts of buyers on different time frames. So when we're interacting with my daily trigger here, the staggered stepped dark blue line up here, this represents where the daily kind of support or resistance would be, like on that daily time frame chart. Down here we have the weekly trigger, this bigger stair-stepped one that's moving slower. So I really like this type of structure when we catch and find support off the high time frame. It's like kind of catching off a 200-day moving average, and then getting up to a 50-day moving average, which we're kind of testing out and holding there. So those aren't the actual averages, but just in terms of this kind of concept here, same thing. They're moving
Yep.
averages essentially. So I'm just noting that, hey, we're in the pinch, the classic moving average pinch, whether you're trading moving averages or anchored VWAPs or anything like that, you note the compression between two significant ones. So for me, a double bottom off of this weekly trigger in the context of a higher low on a daily or a weekly chart, that's some good structure there. If it can hold over this daily trigger now, I think it's trying to set up for a large W pattern back to that
Hmm.
high volume zone up here at 5,090-ish.
Exactly.
That's kind of what I'm looking for here. And I
Yeah,
like,
that's definitely what I was alluding to this morning. If I was a betting man, well, we are all betting men. um, yeah, the bias, at least for now, for the time being, is I would say 70-30, to the upside.
I like that.
So we'll see what happens, but I definitely we agree with what you're pointing out here, and my inflection area is that $5,000 magnet, if I could call it that. So
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
see what happens, and if we can get some intraday setups going.
I just want to call myself out here. I don't think that we're going to get this bigger flush out and then into a longer term pattern here. I think this might be all we get, but I think that this week will
We'll
be
see.
very telling on
Yeah,
that.
I was when we talked last week, I was leaning bearish, and I was holding shorts there and got stopped out with that massive run that we got yesterday. So
Hey, you know how it's funny how price affects sentiment, huh? It
yeah.
sure seems bearish when it's going down until it starts going up. I'm right there with you. I just had to take my lumps there because I saw that on my screen. I was like, oh, I don't like that anymore.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we do have the open in a few minutes here. So
We
feel
have
free to,
open.
if you want to get back to your chart. I want to load up my trading stuff here too.
Sure, sure, sure. We're gonna get back. So we took a look at gold. We're gonna switch to the indices. Let's switch to the NQ really quickly. We're gonna open in a few. Let me see what we are at. All right, so that 2830, sorry, 28,300 level is where our point of control is. The setup is going to be like we are having a very, very clean trend on the Nasdaq, right? Very clean downtrend. So the structure is very, very nice for a possible long setup if we can hold. We made an attempt earlier this morning, right here around this previous pocket here, just above VWAP around 28,450. We're trying to push back up. They got sold again, so we're continuing to move downward. So what we want to see here is, okay, can this high volume node hold, or can we hold maybe slightly above it? Right now, we're retesting those Asia highs. So we'll see what happens. But as usual, I would like to see maybe a flush out here on high volume, and then buyers, to really step back in. We step back over VWAP. Maybe we take a little bit of a pullback here, and hopefully we can get into that. We'll see. I'll wait. As usual, we'll treat it. We'll analyze the opening range and take our trades there, and then from there we have a few possible targets. First one would be, if we are able to catch it here. First one would be around here, the 28,500, which is a pretty nice round number. And then if we're really pushing higher, we could go target those previous highs. We'll see what happens. So that would be the bullish case. Now, if on the open we don't flush out and we just explode to the upside, then that's a different deal. And then, as usual, we could have a bearish scenario where we're not able to hold for whatever reason, and we push down further to those Asia lows. So we'll see what happens there. That would probably be a false breakout where we try to recover, and then these levels act as resistance and we push lower. So we'll see. All right, we just opened right now. We're getting that flush out. Let me switch to my Black Arrow platform so we could see. So let's see what we get. I can't hear you, Steve. You're
Oh, I
muted.
muted myself to cough. Sorry
Sorry,
about
sorry, sorry.
that. The structure here, I do agree that so over high time frame, I'm still very bullish. Hard to not be. That being said, just off of I liked what you were saying about maybe looking for that morning fake breakout into maybe a little bit more of a flush. The way that we're tempting or testing the possible engulfing of that morning candle there, where if we go negative on that, I would imagine that we have an inside day or
Yep.
basically a small pullback, which I think Summit Stalker was talking about as well. Apologies if I'm saying your name wrong there. And Summit Stalker, by the way, I definitely want to talk to you more because you're saying a lot of interesting things that we don't
Indeed,
see much
indeed.
stateside. You're talking about being from India and doing time of trading stuff, so a lot of time cyclicality stuff, and not just looking at things from price levels, but also time, and that's super cool. So we're gonna have to have some talks. I'm glad to see you in here.
Nice, nice. So we're getting that initial flush that I talked about, and we're getting it pretty fast. So let's see what happens. I definitely want us to be able to hold these levels, break out of this prior trend for a confirmed move to the upside. Not
Hmm.
going to take any unnecessary risk here, but like Steve said, we might need to find. Sorry, I was hypnotized by the price there.
Yeah,
Brain freeze, brain freeze, brain freeze.
that's so funny. It's there's something about it. It's like watching a big candle. It almost like it's like it doesn't paralyze me, but I'm just so like inclined to. It's like a cheetah watching an antelope sprint across
Yeah.
their field of vision or something. Like, what's going on?
Yep, 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 yep. We're holding so well here. I want to try. Here's the thing. We're gonna take a first stab at it. It might be too early, but I'm gonna put a stop order here for sort of a breakout. We're gonna try an initial long here.
I love it. I mean, hey, we tagged that hourly trigger for my system, or very, very close, if not. So there should be at least an attempt to push up here. And if it doesn't work, we know exactly where to define our risk, right?
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Let's
I
put
like that.
this in points. Um, let's see what we get. Because if this moves, it might move fast, and I don't know. I don't want to be late to the party.
Hey, fair enough. I'm seeing the strength in my leading sectors here, in especially the Bitcoin mining, those APLDs, those IRENs, those all look amazing on a higher time frame. So I'm just looking to buy every dip intraday, and then as soon as I
Nice,
do put my stop at low a day, and just some of those will stick, and I'll build a position that way as these break out.
nice, 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 nice. You don't have those levels yet. Those Gex levels, right?
I can pull those up in about 5 minutes. I usually wait for about 15
Yeah.
minutes till past the open to really populate them. And that also fits with my system. I really like looking for those inflection points about 15, 20 minutes in. So if this is a long scalp, that might be a time where I'm looking for that potential, reach back into the this kind of bearish order block, you could call it, the big push up, and we came down, tested that level.
Mhm.
We push up into the internal liquidity, but reject and find a seller, then we might push out and push below and sweep through that and form that inside day.
Let's see. We're struggling a bit there as expected.
Still seeing big strength on, oh man, yeah, big strength
Yeah,
on all
this
of
might
the
be an opportunity to add to the trade. So we're
definitely strong
adding.
rally.
We're adding to the trade, and then we're taking those targets right here. This is where we can get our payroll and our bonus, hopefully.
Yes, sir. And I know it's not a futures trade, but I just letting you know I am getting involved with CIFR long, just shares.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking it.
CIFR.
And then yeah, we'll talk Gex in a sec once I get those going.
No problem. All right, so our trade is working pretty well on the NQ. We are getting a defined break here, so really, really nice setup. Let's see if we can reconquer those levels here, and if it's not a false break.
All right. Big moves on APLD, by the way. All right, I'm done talking about crypto. Let's get
No,
into
no, 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 no. Go.
it.
All right. Level of concern. How many points? 230. All right.
You know, I tagged in along with you there, just a small position.
Awesome.
At, yeah, 28,325 on this account. I'm trading what is it? It's the CFDs. So I'm trading the NAS 100
Perfect. All right,
on.
guys, let us know what you're. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna what's it called? Hit the tag for your great C Trader, because I really love the software that you guys use at Fivers. So I'm super excited to be back on your platform here, and
Oh,
yeah,
nice,
it's fun
nice,
trading equity.
nice.
It's not the
Indeed,
same though.
indeed. I haven't tried C Trader yet, actually.
Okay.
I should do that. I've been sticking to the futures and Black Arrow,
Yeah, the
but I
Black Arrow.
definitely want to try C Trader and maybe try out the CFD side.
Hmm.
But we've been neck deep in futures.
I love it. Oh, I need to. I'll be back with you in futures next week, Dave. I have a confession to make. I blew my $50 Black Arrow account trying to keep
No
up.
worries, no
I was like,
worries.
this one's worth $50. I have this other one which was worth like 3 times as much. This is the one I'm playing safe. I'm gonna try some stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I was in the arena trying things. It didn't quite work. So just saying, guys. Even
Full
people who've been doing it a
disclosure, yeah.
while, we mess up every once in a while.
We
And
do, we do, we do. I've blown a couple accounts on well, I blew the first few accounts. Well, the first thing is the fun part was before we launched, we were testing the platform. So there I blew a bunch of accounts just trying all kinds of stuff.
yeah,
Uh
R&D, baby. I love it.
so yeah, so that was fun because there was no real risk there. And then yeah, I actually blew a couple of evals, just adjusting to the risk and the size and everything because I've had to size down a lot.
Mhm.
And then got funded, blew a couple of funded accounts, and we're back. We're funded again, and then we're
Nice.
trading.
Beautiful. I mean, hey, I've been there too. That's the worst feeling too. You finally feel like you lock in, you get your system down, you pass. You probably got like halfway through the funded, and then for me, I got the speed wobbles on my first time at the very least,
Yeah.
and my second time. Now to think about it, you guys, you gotta suck at something for a while before you get good at it. And
Yep.
so for me, I decided to suck at a new strategy, and hopefully next time it'll go a little better. I'm about to get stopped out here if this 1 minute candle doesn't reverse off my 21-minute moving average, about $25 loss there, and I just want to really kind of. I think the big trade for me today is seeing if this 4-hour candle engulfs or not. This kind of big up and down that we got pre-market, and I'm hoping for a consolidation day personally, because I want the market to keep going, and it's hard to just buy if it's just ripping every single day.
Yep.
I like small pullback into nice close. That's what I'd like to do here. We
All right.
shall
I
see.
took
I did
I,
stop out, by the way.
I took one off just because we haven't been able. So this is looking like a false breakout so far.
That's what I'm worried about. We just
Yeah.
didn't get the. I wanted to put a little on in case we got that scream and move back to the dead
That's
cat 50% bounce.
Yep.
Exactly where your take profit is, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I was looking to, and we still could get it. I just, Dave, I'm nervous here, and I'm recognizing that this is a thing about my psychology. So despite me being nervous about being long, and maybe this long trade would have worked just fine, I'm willing to kind of be on the side of 1 foot out the door just for the intraday stuff, because maybe that's wishful thinking, wanting the pullback,
Hmm.
but I'm just trying to acknowledge, like, me as a mean reversion trader, I'm like, we've been screaming here for a few days, and
Yep.
I am very bullish, but I just want a little foothold to get more skin in the game.
I can't totally disagree with you here. We definitely can, and probably that's probably the wiser way to approach the market. I just sometimes tend to be a contrarian and try to think, okay, most people are probably expecting a pullback and looking for that. Let's just take the contrarian trade in case the opposite happens and we get surprised, as we
Yeah.
often do in the market. But
Hmm.
that's not always the case. So, I wanted to try and see what happened there. And right now, the way we're moving, and we formed a new bottom here, if
Yeah.
this is going to break to the upside, it's going to break, and we're not going to see this level again. So I'm tightening up my risk. Um,
Oh, that looks good. Yeah.
And let's see, because if not, then this is a confirmed failed breakout, and we should probably looking to the downside. Now, I don't have a specific. So what I wanted was, to kind of have a couple of contracts on, and then be able to have multiple targets. But since I took one off right now, I don't really have a specific target. This is really going to be a kind of feel the trade and feel the exit.
Hmm.
So we're going to see.
Yeah, I like 28 28375 to 28400. I think is looking pretty reasonable to me. On oh, I should double check that. Are those going to be different levels? I gotta pull up my other chart. It does look very nice though. I liked your back test there, and I think I got yeehawed out of this trade, so that's fine.
It's totally fine. Hey, I took a contract off, so we totally agree there. This
No,
this area.
I'm your cheerleader here. I am watching oil for you as well, just for a little
Thank you.
confluence there. That was part of why I was seeing the candle on NQ close at the lows of the candle, and then I saw USO basically try to hold the previous kind of level that it popped up into and came back into. So for me, it was like a little sketchy, but I'm recognizing that it's my weakness as a mean reversion trader to not be getting involved with stuff like this.
It's totally fine. It's totally fine. It's good to have, a an opposite view
Mhm.
sometimes to yours to have, or that's what I like when you're here, because sometimes we see things the same, sometimes you give me that little pushback. So it's good. You don't want to be kind of blind.
Hmm. Well, I love the environment you're building here, Dave, and the whole Fivers team because I feel like I can come in as like the new kid on the block, but I don't feel like I have to temper my expectations to match the your view or the view of the channel. It's
Yeah,
yeah, it's all about learning and just hey, we're like JPOW here. We're data dependent. Give us the
yep,
information, we'll trade that.
exactly, exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. And I actually like enjoy getting pushback. There's nothing, when I get a little bit of pushback on my ideas, whatever, it makes me rethink things. So feel free to give me all the pushback you want.
Absolutely, man. I love it. That's what I'm here for. You got that little bit of contrarian in you. I do too. So then, if I'm on stream with a contrarian, I have to be a contrarian to the contrarian. All of a sudden, I find myself
There we
trading the
go.
consensus.
Yeah,
I am noting.
equals plus. So
I am noting the strength on USO here. That's what was worrying me a little bit. But Dave, USO could go up, and so could the market. We have been
indeed.
seeing that everything up rally that just makes everybody so mad. So
Yep.
I'm hesitant to really be that bearish on oil. It seems like it's still WTI at least hanging out at 97. I think it wants to retest the 100 perhaps.
Let's just check. Indeed, we're pushing higher here.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, it got some pressure release on that, which big
Yeah.
part of why SPY is able to push up. We are getting the little 5 minute range break. Your orb on Futes there. Nice.
Let's get it. Let me go back to. I didn't look at the Dow. We're so focused on the Nasdaq right now. I didn't get to look at the other. Oh man, I was thinking about adding. I didn't have time to add, guys. I'm not
That's
gonna
tough.
chase it. I'm not gonna chase it. We're just gonna go break even right now, because this is where we should take off from.
Yes, sir. I love it. And just in case there are any, a little slower traders like me, little position traders looking for a swing, I did just take a little. This is my non-mean reversion experiment. So I'm adding a little bit to my Bitcoin miner exposure with CIFR through the high of the day here. I bought a little bit. I bought a little bit yesterday, and this is. I just need more exposure because they're all screaming on me here. This one was lagging a little bit. I love the higher time frame structure, and if we get dips, I want to add anyway. So I took a little starter there, planting my flag.
Nice, 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 nice. CIFR. Let me just check this out.
High time frame, it's a pretty one. It's a really pretty like weekly chart. A little scary on the daily because it just posted a big old candle and gapped up. But
Cipher Digital.
yes, sir, that's the one.
Nice. By the way, do you know RGTI, Rickety Corporation?
I do, I do. That's a fun
What's
one to
your?
trade.
I always pick. I don't know if
Oh
you've
wow.
gotten it by now, but every time I kind of, I'm entering something or thinking about investing in something, I pick your brain.
Okay.
So
You like this one. I don't know about the fundamentals.
RTI.
Um, just one thing. I do know that IonQ is reporting tonight, so that's going to be a good barometer for this RGTI and the whole sector. This
Okay.
one's looking really nice, and it's testing that weekly trigger for me at 1927. So basically right where we're at. If we can flip that, and that basically a candle close through that, I'm pretty sure we surge and try to sweep the 2018, that liquidity over the 20 handle, that liquidity over the
Hmm.
previous swing high. And then I think we really start to cook. There's imbalances and a low volume node up to 22. And then there's a high volume node at 25. So as long as we find acceptance at that low volume node, I think the momentum's going to try to carry us up to that 25, assuming a good result on IonQ.
Yep.
That's kind of where I'm at. But I like it. I like a lot of these. And the thing is, Dave, you can just take a pretty small position and it can end up posting
Well,
very outsized returns, you know?
I'm doing the opposite. I'm not taking a small position.
You're going big? Okay.
I've been accumulating, for lack of a better term.
Well, you
So let's
probably
see.
know more about this industry and this company than
Actually,
me.
I don't know much
Okay.
about RGTI. Man, it was one of those kind of setups, field trades.
Mhm.
Uh, um, I had my wife talking about it for some reason, so I was like, "All right, let's just see."
Yeah, no, I do like it. It's a fun one and high time frame. What I will say is actually this is a pretty decent chart. If you'd like to switch to my screen, I could show
Yeah,
you.
no problem. Let's just switch to your screen right now.
Nice. It's a little messy, but these are well-worn charts. I've been watching and trading these for quite a while. But the gist is, I see this on a lot of setups, and this I do consider one of my. I don't know if bread and butter is the right word, but when I see this, I have to take a small position on something like this. So this is on my focus list. I'm gonna add it to my watch list for names like this, where it's essentially formed a giant cup and a
Hmm.
giant handle. It's tried to break out, and now it's coming right back to this big old level of interest. I
Hmm.
love that it just dipped into this zone I have just a little bit, into this monthly trigger just a little bit, and found a really nice buying level of support there. So I think that these types of names can do really explosive things, and this is also why I'm watching these types of names here, because I think that on higher time frames, these big cup and handles can get absolutely crazy explosive.
Yep.
One for reference in the same space, no less. What was it? QBTS. Yeah, this was one of my best trades last year off the same thing, right? So we were watching this big cup, this big handle. We took the momentum breakout here I sold into like 25 to 30. So 200% move for my last sells. Most of it, I was out mostly by, when I booked 100%, that was a
Okay.
good one. But,
Nice.
but these they just explode so fast, and it's all because they're juiced on this monthly time frame. So I just needed to point out when I see a chart like this, APLD, look at this massive cup and handle here on a monthly, no less.
Oh yeah. Oh
Hmm.
wow.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And then
When
you
you
have
see
this.
those on the higher time frames, these are
They're
nice.
beasts. They're really beasts. And APLD here on the monthly, this is such a beastly high and tight flag here, moving way over the 60% required for that high and tight flag criteria. And then I believe holding within the. Okay, so if it was really high and tight, it would be at least a 60% move and then within 25% pullback. This is a much wider range with a 50% pullback within this monthly consolidation. And this really does remind me of this behemoth AAOI. We were watching the same consolidation into the neckline,
Hmm.
and then it just said, hey, while I'm chopping, while I'm deciding, I'm going to pull back 75% because, hey, screw you if you're long here. I got stopped out there because I thought it was doing the big break. And, those volatility contractions on a really juiced move can be so violent that, like,
Yep.
everybody got stopped out there, but then 1,000% from there.
Whew.
These things are
Crazy.
insane if they really do find the bid. And
Crazy.
I mean, if we're talking narrative plays, AOI in the photonic space, these little Bitcoin miners that completely pivoted into the best industry in the world going forward with data centers, it's a really compelling setup. So I just wanted
Yep.
to harp on that. I know
Nice.
we're a future stream, but
No, but it's good to have a view on different assets, different things. So
I
awesome.
appreciate you letting me
Awesome. Awesome.
rant.
Awesome.
Yeah, I laughed at
Indeed.
higher yen, and now you you can relieve me of these because I'm just going to stare at them and buy more and more if I keep looking at them.
Nice. I'm just gonna take these comments right now. Game show saying Dow Jones is up. Okay, so that is the the YM if we're looking at the Dow Jones, so that's good. Let me just check out YM.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! That must be news. That's a big candle on SPY.
Let's see.
I'll take a look for the news.
Let's take a look for the news. Is that going to destroy my trade, or is that an opportunity to add?
That's the question.
I've
Either
been
higher,
wanting to
higher
add.
low here, or I don't know. I got to find that news here.
I'm feeling pretty risky today. I just added.
No, we can. Love it.
Indeed, indeed.
And then worst case, if this does flush out the bottom, you probably get a little momentum scalp there too, as it accelerates. But it's trying here. The bear in me would consider taking this wick back up as a short and assuming we break the range, putting our stop over that high of the day. That is a setup if you are bearish. I do see a little bit of waning in the hourly oscillator there. It did just flip bearish, but that could change in the next 10 minutes, and it could save that if we do wick. So no confirmation there, but I do like these hourly oscillators to kind of just gauge if intraday, maybe in an uptrend, we need to just coast and pull back a little and trade sideways.
Let's see. I'm just going to switch back to my screen really quick just to show everybody what we're doing, and then we can switch back to yours. So we are still in the trade. We have our opening range right now. So as expected, there was a pullback here. I liked how this was moving and was looking to add because I wanted to have at least 2 contracts there. If this really goes, we could really print money on that trade. And then we were in from about 28,408. And then when we took that dip here, I just BTFD, baby. We we
It's
bought that
beautiful.
dip.
That
Yeah, we
was
bought
clean,
that
man.
dip, and then we're targeting higher. So what you guys could look at if we're as usual, we take that opening range trade is we're targeting similar. I always call them somewhat of a standard deviation. So if this is our first step, second step, first target would be around the midpoint of that range, and then second target is really open. So now what we're going to do is manage the risk. We got what we wanted. We wicked lower. So right now, I don't want to see this move lower than this prior wick area here, because we tapped this area twice. So if we go and test this, then the long trade is no longer valid, and it will probably look like that short setup that Steve was talking about. So we'll see. We're about 30 points in profit right now, but we're going to have diamond hands today. It's either going to work or we're going to get stopped out. Let me see. We got some more comments here. Tubagu, how you doing? How you doing? Have a nice day as well. Sorry it took a while to answer you there. Overall, you still see Nasdaq went higher today. What do I think? Possible other all-time high this week. Well, honestly, anything is possible. We have been pushing higher and not
Mm-hmm.
looking back.
Yeah.
So I think it is definitely possible. We've seen 1,000-point days on the on the Nasdaq. So a simple tweet could make things just take off, into the stratosphere. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. Now we have Ivan here. Welcome, welcome. Summit Stalker, sorry, not Stalker. All right, bye. Thank you for tuning in. Definitely want to see what your trade will be tomorrow or was tomorrow. So come in, let us know, and definitely point it out, because I'm curious to see what that gold trade you've been looking at was. So
Mm-hmm.
let us know. Let us know. We are holding here. It's going to be 10 o'clock, so it's going to be decisive. Let's look at 30 minutes. All right, we're pretty well positioned here. If this is going to rip, I think it's going to be good. So we'll see what happens.
Love it, love it.
Indeed. Let me get your screen back up.
Oh, no worries.
Oh, you're good?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk. I'm just talking about yeah, a bit of a dip buy on IREX here in my server, so I wanted to double check on that position. Does still look good to me.
No
I am adding
problem.
a little bit more there.
No problem. So we're hesitating a little bit around this area here, which I'm not too pleased about. You know, this previous pocket of resistance that we talked about. Just want to see when it comes to the volume profile, what does that look like? So let's see how much volume has been done here. So session. All right, so we're right above. So that's the ES. Sorry, I want to go to the Q. So we're right above that point of control here.
It is an area, yeah, the point of control. We're trying to test that top of the shelf there, and
Yep,
it could take a little bit of time to make its decision here.
indeed.
But we do
I
have like an hour or left of good liquidity, I'd say, where we could make that move. So I don't hate it at all, and I think I'm really liking that dip buy that you did on that wick. No fear, and just knowing that, hey, on any pressure release in an uptrend, probably it's not a bad idea to look to buy that dip, right?
Yep,
Hmm.
exactly. I think we're well positioned, and the targets are pretty clear now. So, like I said, we're just gonna hold and win or lose and learn.
Absolutely.
You know, we're not touching the trade. Diamond hands today. Keeping that discipline. All right, we have William Samambo. Hello from France. Well, bonjour,
You're welcome.
bonjour, bienvenue.
Bonjour. That's all I got.
Oh, really?
Je m'appelle Steve
There we
Tillman.
go.
I
There
took
we go.
a
There
couple
we
years
go.
in high school, but it's been a while.
Nice, nice, nice. Now French is one of the languages I speak. So
Are you what is that?
bonjour,
Polyglot?
bienvenue.
Is that what it's called?
Uh, I guess I don't know.
I'm
I
not
just speak
insulting
a
you.
couple languages.
I think that means multiple languages that you
Yeah,
speak.
it is. It is. It is.
Okay, just making sure.
But I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. You know, let me look up the definition. It does mean that you speak multiple languages, but I don't know if there's a special thing about
Mm,
being a polyglot. Let me see.
maybe a
Polyglot.
certain number. I don't know.
Known or using several languages. Yeah, there you go.
All
Okay.
right,
Yeah.
sick. Very cool. So what do you speak? English, I assume. French.
A little bit of English, just a tiny
Every once
bit.
in a while.
Just a tiny bit. French. My French is actually better than my English, and Spanish.
Very cool. Is French your first language?
Yep.
Okay, beautiful. Where were you born?
Haiti, the Caribbean.
Haiti. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I also speak Haitian Creole, so.
Very cool. That's one of the most fun sounding languages to me. I don't know. I got something in me. I just love that. I really want to visit Louisiana. I feel like
Oh,
I,
really?
I
Nice,
mean
nice. I
I
haven't been there either.
I could eat soul food every day of my life. I think and just be so happy.
Yep, 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 yep. That Cajun cooking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am also sorry. I'm in everything mode.
No
So
problem, no problem.
rein me in if needed, but just put it on people's radars. LAC, if you like commodities, that's a lithium small cap miner. So maybe a little bit of the fast moving stuff if it starts kicking. I just saw a big volume pump, and so that's back on my radar, both for swing trade and intraday here. Just if anybody gets bored with the futures. But that being said, the
Are
market.
you calling the futures boring?
I'm not calling the futures boring. I'm just a mean reversion trader, and it's at point of control. And I'm like, I don't know if I have an opinion here, and that makes me
Yeah.
feel useless. So
No, we're just waiting. We're just waiting.
yeah.
I'm hoping for fireworks
Mhm.
at 10 o'clock. It is 10 o'clock, so let's see what we get.
Let's go, baby. And
Let's
I'll
go.
get those Gex levels up for you too.
Yes, please. Justin, we're drawing boxes, Justin, as usual. So welcome back. We got our box. We got our trade. We didn't miss it today. We're in. So are you trading gold?
We gotta know, brother. We gotta know.
Yeah, we got to know. Williams, let me know what you're trading in France.
This is looking really good here on SPY, going for that break even higher. There we
Get it. Let's
go.
get it. Let's get it. Let's
There's
get
your
it.
volume, baby. Nice.
Let's get it. We're seeing that volume increase right here. So
That's
hopefully this takes off.
do watch. I know you're trading NQ there, but just watching my big levels on SPY. This is 730 that we're getting gamma pulled up into. So we're seeing the surge up. That's telling me that those shares are there now. Now we're seeing a little bit of monetization, and this 729.63 to 730. That's going to be my little area, and that's just the last 2-minute candles, Dave. Just that kind of range of the last 2-minute spike up candle. So as long as it can hold that line, I think it wants to push up and clear out that 730. That would be the next, yeah, it's looking real nice there. That'd be the next target for me. And then we could reach up on into, I mean, hey, but 730 to 731 is kind of my golden pocket where if we were going to reject and not sweep the pre-market highs, that would be kind of where I'd expect sellers to step in. But so far looking really nice. Great hold.
Looking good. We're actually at 748 right now on the ES. So let us see. Justin saying taco trade today.
Oh, I haven't. So yeah, let me see. By the way, there was
some news. Yeah, a game show pointed out that there was some news. I didn't look at it.
It was Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi holds talks with Iranian counterpart Arakchi. So I guess just increased visibility towards a resolution. We like to see people working together all across the globe, holding hands, all that good kumbaya stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what we're hoping for here.
All right, the trade is looking less and less interesting here. I'm thinking, should I adjust my stop or not? Because I really want to hold this one. It's just get another flush and a move back up, but I might just be wrong.
These are my worst trades where it's just we grind back into the middle of the range, and then this might be a reversal and a rejection at that equilibrium, which is how it tried to push up like that and is now kind of sweeping. For me personally, if I was long, I'd be 1 foot out the door here and not letting it all go away.
We're out.
I respect it, and now we're just for me, it's just kind of not really anything screaming at me here, to be completely honest. With that red candle, it really does make me have to kind of think. And I'm not being.
I was bragging about diamond hands and whatever, and then whoop, we're out.
But all that means is that you're not going to go down with the ship, right?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense.
Dave, I've been stealing your bit. I've been crediting you, but what is it? Strong conviction held lightly.
Well, I stole it from somebody else, so we're just,
Well, we'll telephone it down the line, and then somebody will credit it to me. I don't know.
There you go. Get all the credit.
We're all just like amalgamations of all the smart stuff we've heard. It's just, I think it's just as valid. It means just as much if that stuck with me enough to repeat it a bunch as if as if you wrote it yourself. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's all the same to me.
Oh man, we are an amalgamation of very interesting words you're bringing up here today.
Dave, those those hermit crabs that they just they scurry along and they just grab cool algae or something. They stick it to their back. They're like, I like this. I'm gonna stick it.
Let me just grab it here.
That's just me with trading advice. That's I'm just a hermit crab. And then you level up, you get some really good advice. You're like, oh, I need a bigger shell, baby. I need a bigger shell. And you keep on moving up.
Indeed.
So it's SPY is just pinning at this 730-ish kind of area. So assuming that for me, I would like to tap back into the higher volume node at 729, that point of control. Looks like we are getting that kind of push down there, and that's going to be where the rubber hits the road for me. That's VWAP as well, coming from the pre-market open, and I think that's where it gets interesting to me. Let me pull that on ES as well, or NQ. That's what you're trading.
Yeah, I'm bouncing back and forth between ES and MQ.
Yeah.
Looking at different stuff. Man,
Call
I
it
really
28
wanted that.
450 there is the point of control I'm watching on
2450.
NQ.
Okay.
I am noting
Um,
that NQ is looking. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. Wrong chart. That's why. Too many conversions in my brain.
yeah. So the logic behind getting out of the trade, not holding, is once we so what's the setup? You guys know I like to trade that opening range. We got into the trade around here. We pulled back, touched the upper end of the range. We pulled back to the 50% area, and then volume came in, and we pushed higher. The expectation was what? It was okay. If we're really bullish, well, we shouldn't really pull back lower than this VWAP area here. So this was showing a lot of weakness, and Steve was pointing out how SPY was behaving. We got those levels. I remember you pointing out a little double top that we got, I think, on the ES.
Yeah.
So again, speaking of somebody having a point of view and another point of view, it was good because it kept me thinking, okay, this is what I want to see to stay in that trade. All right. am
Beautiful.
I
Well,
am I
that was good.
glad that I got
Yeah.
out?
I was
Right.
about to say
This
that's
is
this is the
why.
second best feeling besides making a lot of money on a
Yeah,
trade. It's not losing a good amount because you made the right get out of jail
exactly,
call or
exactly.
whatever I'm trying to say. You get it.
I totally get it. So we're gonna repeat it. Strong opinions, lightly held. I had a strong opinion until we got to
Boom.
here, where I'm like, okay, we need to reevaluate. And fortunately, we did, because we would have taken a loss for no reason when we were really pretty good profit here, almost 50 points in the trade. So I'm break even so far. Justin saying someone spoke today. Okay. Traded gold after it broke 4,700. All right. So Rob, we can't unfortunately use a live translator. It doesn't work. We've tried, we've discussed it. So we don't have a solution for that now. So after the live session, once we get the replay, you'll be able to hear it in Hindi. And thank you for watching us from India. But unfortunately, as we're live, we can only speak English. I Hindi. I know a few languages, but unfortunately, Hindi is not one of them.
Not one of them yet. Give him a
Oh
couple
man,
weeks here.
thank you for another challenge. This is exactly what I need.
That's what you need, right? Yeah. Just a big old workload. You're not doing everything already. Let's see. I'm battling with my spreadsheets here, but I will have those up for y'all shortly. It's a lot of data to load in on my little potato PC here with the
No
streaming stuff.
problem, no problem, no problem, no problem. And let me know if you want me to bring up your screen, but I'm just gonna switch and go look at gold right now.
Sure. I'll give you a holler when I'm ready.
No problem. All right, gold. What did oil? Okay, we're gonna look at oil. Just 1 second. We're looking at the gold because Justin said he traded gold while it broke 4,700. Okay, nice. So you took, I guess you took that breakout as it broke 4,700. So you're about 15 points in profit right now. So good on you for that. Just be aware of what happened on the NQ. Are we going to see that same behavior on the Nasdaq? So as we had our different scenarios, if we are going to continue to trend higher, this is the path you want to be looking for, right? And then we're going to have that FVG, like the guys called them around here, the upper end, and it is a low volume node. So you wanna kind of think about what happens around this area, depending on how long you want to hold the trade. Is it an intraday trade? Are you taking a swing trade? So just consider that area right here, and it's going to be a decision-making point. Now,
Dave, if I could cut in real quick, just because I
yes,
think it's time sensitive here.
go ahead.
Right as I loaded in here, I saw the higher low being formed on SPX. I'm also seeing the 73.50 strike getting pumped. I'm still seeing more and more volume coming in. Let me see. Oh, if I switch, I see. I'm not sharing my whole screen. Give me 1 sec. I'm switching to full screen. It'll be right
Go.
back.
Sorry.
There we go.
No
All right.
problem. Man, look at that recovery.
There we go. So this 73.50 note, I know it's probably a little small, but it's the biggest green bar on this little graph. And this growing tells me that the market wants to come up to that point. It wants to get all of those calls up to that strike, and then those
Mhm.
calls can be monetized. They can stop hedging them. But until we hit that strike and some of those calls come off the tape, that is the big magnet, and you're seeing price getting dragged up there. So that is still a decent ways away. That is quite a ways away. That is 25 points or so to the upside is going to be the target for the day. The
What
selling,
is it percentage wise? This way I could give the level on the yes.
absolutely. It is going to be about 0.33% up on SPX, and I'm happy to run through the Qs levels as well on GEX after this.
All right.
Uh,
So
but yeah, that's roughly what I'd be looking for on SPX, and I will also convert that level for y'all in just
yeah,
a moment.
0.33 would be around 73.60, 73.70. So let me just check. Man, that's a nice target. Yeah, it's about 73.70. So, past the pre-market high there.
Absolutely. And yeah, just loading up my what do you call it? Conversion levels here.
All right. Justin saying amen. Amen. Amen.
Preach, brother.
That's
Looking
preach.
like SPX 7350. That target is going to be 7378 on ES, roughly,
Yeah,
roughly.
yeah. So that's what I was thinking.
Great.
73.70s. Man, I
Perfect.
really want to get long again.
Let's see. And now I can also check those Qs levels, and then we can transcribe those as well. Set the minimum strike and strike width. And now we wait. Oh,
No problem.
I forget how to use my own tool. Got to be capitals. There it goes. Okay, so Q's, the big level for now is 690, and it is currently trading there. So what I will say is that this is going to be a little bit harder for Q's to break through. I'm seeing a little bit of relative strength, it looks like. Yeah, relative strength in SPY. So I can check in on the indices too and see what's pulling us where. XLF, or I'm sorry. Oh, big green days in a lot of sectors, especially communications and technology. Energy is the biggest weakness, so definitely a strong profile so far. So interesting to see that Qs are lagging a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see if they can flip this now a triple top. In general, this 690 level, we have 3 bounces into it. As long as we do get a higher low, maybe off VWAP into this little low volume node, I would expect it to try to put a higher low and then punch through this and use that kind of building strength, the spring, to catch up on the Qs as we go confirm a risk on day, if we do get that, of course. The one thing I am just noting is that 690, I'm not seeing a big gamma node above it like we are on SPX. So just a little bit of, push pull there, and we got to see which one starts to match to the others, right? We'd like to see the Qs start to stack up some liquidity at 692, 693, 695 would be really nice. So that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Let's see what we get. We've definitely been seeing a lot of resistance around that 28,490, 28,500, more or less, just below that $28,500 level. If we could break through that, then we could get that possible squeeze to the upside. But so far, like you said, the triple top is holding us down now. While you're up here, Steve, I mean, while you have your screen up, we
Mhm.
have Harris Jakar asking for a view on oil. So I
Oil.
would like to see your take there,
Yeah, sure
and
thing.
maybe I'll lay your mind while I'm
Absolutely.
stalking
Oh,
this
here we go.
Nasdaq right here.
All right. So first thing I know is that USO tried to sweep the pre-market highs. It did. It collected that liquidity, instantly found a strong change of character there. So we like that as bears in oil and bulls in the market. Now I want to just basically, I'll give you guys a little quick rundown of how I would look at something like this. We'll also clear some of this out of the way. These well-worn charts. So you can see this large green level. That was my first big fib target. We did transact that. We are starting to fall back from that. Totally fine. not really worried about it so much as how do I phrase this? How do I phrase this?
In English.
In English, not Creole. All right. So how I would frame this is we are still holding the 21 day. We had a parabolic move. We pulled back sharply. We pushed to a new high. The catalyst in which sparked this whole move has not been resolved yet, and we are reflecting that in price still. We're trading above, let's call it the I would say the oil kind of risk premium is sitting probably around. We'll be sorry. I'll stop stumbling over my words. We'll keep it simple. Point of control 116. As long as it holds this and the previous swing low, we are still trading at a premium, factoring in that risk. So it just leaves the door open for the chance to, if we get a bad headline, for USO to hold structurally, push up nicely, while the markets, which have been screaming to the upside, air out to the downside and kind of back test some key levels. That is definitely possible, just because we have so much geopolitical kind of shake and bake still potentially around the corner, and I mean any weekend really. So I am hesitant to give a strong technical read on something that is so hinging on geopolitics. That being said, always I rely on the charts because they look back and use that to project forward, even if something in the future could change that. And so far, structurally, this is still holding. And as long as it holds over this point of control, I really do think that we have to keep it on the table for a continuation move up. That being said, I think the market wants to look through this conflict, see Trump pull back in a few weeks after, after we get some sort of essentially confirmation that we can guide ships through the Strait of Hormuz and the rest of the world will back us up in that. That could lead to this wrapping up a little sooner than we think, and the market really wants to look forward through there. But it's just really tough because I'm not a geopolitical expert by any means, and I'm just kind of
Me neither.
I'm trying to peek behind the curtain and use my skill set, which is just aggregating information from people smarter than me.
Yep.
So that's all I can tell you on USO. I wish I could tell you more, but it's not as easy as some of these other ones, to be honest.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. So I just got short right now since we weren't able to. So I got short on the Nasdaq.
Ooh, nice.
Let me just show you
Yeah,
guys.
it failed. It did push
It
higher.
failed.
Now it
It
failed.
it tried, yeah.
Mhm. And
Just sorry.
no, you're good.
And that's why while you were, I had one ear listening to you, one ear, stalking the charts. So I kind of half heard what you said, but I'll jump back into oil. I don't know why. I really want to get this Nasdaq trade today, and it's
Mhm.
probably not a good idea to have that.
I don't know. I mean, it's a tough. It hasn't been the easiest session, right? We've had two big
No.
liquidity pulls, but so far the trend has been up and to the right. Despite that, it's hard to feel super confident seeing a big candle the second we interacted with the 6-2 fib of this current range, which means basically we did break above the 50%, but we found a seller. Sure, we did push higher, but then we got to the first kind of target on the top half of that range and instantly found another seller.
Yep.
So it's just a little tricky here. It's just a little tricky here, and I got to stick to the structural. As long as we hold the higher low, I think that yeah, I'm still seeing the 73.50 Gex on the tape. A little bit was monetized on that push, but not that much. Still by far the biggest node, and it should be the pull as long as bears can't get any structural breaks like a
Exactly.
lower low.
Exactly. So we might have to move sideways for a while before we get the move, but we don't know. This might have been that flush that we needed to revert back up. Anything can happen here. Hasn't been the easiest trade. Hasn't been the most directional trade. So I think this is going to be my last one if it doesn't work out, at least on the Nasdaq.
Hmm.
Um, so we'll see. We'll see what we get. Targeting maybe these lows or a little bit lower if we do get increase in volume and flush there. But
Ooh,
it's
I
been
just woke up a little
been
bit off
tough.
the 50%.
You said what?
Oh, just that was a little bit of a jolt of a candle there off that 50%. So I'm just
Yeah,
noting that it's just I view this as kind of a battle right now because the
yeah,
bulls definitely tried there, but the bears were right back in. We're right at the equilibrium of the range. Gex is pulling higher, liquidity pulling lower. We have the higher volume at the point of control below and VWAP below. So if it fails to push higher, it could want to revisit that kind of home base. We have a point of control with the dashed line here, and VWAP is this kind of pink line there. So
Mhm.
this kind of zone is where, I mean, as long as we hold there, I think it's path of least
Path
resistance
of
to
least
go up.
resistance. Yep.
But it's just like at this pivot, maybe we need to reach under to get that strength to push up. That's kind of what I'd be thinking about as I see top wicks getting posted here. Bulls not giving up, but neither are bears quite yet.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Let's see. Let's see if we can maybe get a flush and get out there. But like Steve is saying, we're staying open-minded here because we could change direction at any moment. Who's writing here? Let me see. We have a comment. Harish Krishna saying thank you. All right. Nasdaq seems ranging. Well, yes, it's definitely ranging right here. It's clear. It's clearly ranging. We're inside the box. I don't like when we stay inside the box for too long for my directional trades. So we'll see what we get.
To me, it's still looking like it's trying to just do that creepy crawly up the wally.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's tough. That's a big candle.
not liking this.
So it was tough to read, but I think that initial jolt off of that 50% fib about 3-4 minutes ago, the second red candle where it kind of caught, I think that was a little bit of a hand tip on the tape where we just saw that strength. And even though it did wick back and showed that fight, it never lost that candle. So that buyer essentially held the line and is now battling through those short-term shorts.
Hmm. All right, so we are, let me just go back to here. We are short, like I said, trying to get a push lower possibly here, but as Steve is pointing out, we're not, we're moving sideways and nothing is confirmed just
Mhm.
yet. If I could just take a step back and kind of think of this price action in another way, I always like to make the store analogy.
Mhm.
Um, in my opinion, if we were going to push higher and and go higher decisively, I think we probably would have done so sooner. So my feel, and this is just pure experience talking, and I might be wrong. I'm being purely discretionary here. We might need to go and get a better discount price
Mhm.
before we
Mhm.
push higher.
I mean, I love
Let's
thinking
see.
about it like a store because I always think, and this is something futures traders are so good at. They know what they got is inventory, right? And they're
Yeah,
just trying to, they're just trying to buy when inventory is cheap, and when it's expensive, offload that inventory and just
exactly,
keep on trading that around in a circle. I love that
exactly.
because
So
Dave, it's so easy to get like caught up in a trade, especially if you're trading equities. So this is where I think futures have a very strong edge and futures traders have a strong edge because you're not going to be as attached to, you know, the index, trading an index, because you're not going to like feel like, oh, if I get out of this, I'm going to look tomorrow and it's going to be 10%
yeah,
higher, right? With some of these small cap names, you can get so attached to them, so caught
yeah.
up in the narrative, then you find yourself not trading objectively. So I think of futures as like the purest form of trading. Either go
Nice. I
long or
like
go
that.
short.
I need to make a shirt that says futures, the purest form of trading. But I like that. I like that. Also, there's not that the fundamentals are different. For example, me, I get very attached to equities, and maybe you believe in a company, and you're like, nah, they're not seeing the picture. They don't see the future. So yeah, that is an advantage with the futures. But like you said, that waking up and seeing it 10% up or 10% down or whatever, 50% up or down is
Geez,
a
yeah.
huge advantage in equities, that you don't necessarily get with futures. So it's give or take. I say trade everything. This way
Yeah.
you could this way you can take the advantage of all the assets,
Hmm.
or at least trade what aligns with your personality. For
Right.
now, for me, it's futures. I've seen more success there, but I don't know, man. Trading with you guys those past few months has had me looking at equities again, and sometimes I just creep into your stream or
No.
Jane's or Michael Moss's, and I'll be like, man, I need to get back in there.
I love it, man. Yeah, you're always welcome. Jump on in. The water's fine at Trade the Pool. You know,
Yep, yep, yep.
I don't know. It's been so much fun. We have a new member of the team, Jesse, who's a absolute great guy and great resource for for traders too. So would love to just bring the whole family together. It's like, when your friend groups hang out and you're, I just want everybody to join the party, and it's
Indeed,
so
indeed,
much fun.
indeed.
Oh man, yeah.
Indeed.
There's the push
I'm
through, and
out.
you're just grinding on up through that
I'm out.
730. You're out.
Yeah.
I respect it. I respect it.
Yeah. So, maybe I was a little bit too stubborn looking for bigger targets because we were in profit on both directions there. But
Yeah.
the idea is you wanna take a trade that can really pay off. It didn't really make sense for me to take a half hour profit
Hmm.
there,
Yeah.
but we can't find a direction, and
What
this
what I
the
what I would
52
also say
range.
is like,
Uh-huh.
just for any newer traders who might not, like Dave's really good about thinking in contingencies, right? So he wasn't betting the farm on that, and it was all about, hey, if this does fail, you could get a really nice sized move down. This would be a logical place, trading
Yep.
up over the 50% of the range, but finding some sellers there, finding sellers off the 62, which is what we did find. So that is, in my book, that's a totally valid, like, maybe it's only a 40% hit rate, but if it does, it pays so much more. And so I would be happy getting stopped out of there, you know, every day of the week, because I bet the ones that it does hit are going to pay for the small stop loss anyway.
Yep.
And the other thing is, we saw that pivot, and then we saw that big squeeze candle through. That tells me that Dave wasn't the only one thinking short here. I wasn't the only one thinking that we could short there, because that's an inflection point. And well, lo and behold, the Bears lost, at least
Yep.
initially. But nobody knew that until the Bulls showed how strong they were into that pivot. So you got to think
Exactly.
in terms of bets and probabilistic outcomes, not just,
Exactly.
oh, it went up. Dave's terrible. No, Dave ain't terrible. Let me tell you, Dave knows what he's doing.
We hope so. We sure hope so.
You come on. Well, that's why Dave's so great. Look how humble he is. Dave's on the screen. Dave knows what he's doing. I can say that. Maybe he can't, but I
Thank you.
can.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. And Justin called it. Nasdaq is ranging, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, and I like this price action for where we're at, because what it's showing me is that we're not just, it's not a, okay, it's kind of absurd. I was gonna say it's not absurd, but it's reasonable. We did do some pullback. We pushed higher pre-market, showing, hey, we're still in uppies mode. We're still in a lockout rally. The pain trade is to the upside,
mhm.
and then we dip. And then we get all the people who are saying, oh my goodness, it's never going to have a red candle, getting to second guess themselves. Oh, maybe I bought the top. Well, they sell to the smart buyers like Dave down here on these liquidity raids. And we get those easy points. Even if this is a range trade day, that's fine. We're
Yep.
buying at the low of the range, and we'll sell some at the upper half of the range. Maybe it goes straight through. Well, what can you do, right? That's why you
Exactly.
that's why you don't sell your Roth. you know?
You don't. You don't. You don't. Is this you being a mean reversion trader? Is this a dream scenario for you right now?
No.
Like,
We didn't get quite deep enough for me to
okay.
really load the boat on SPY on this.
Okay.
I was saying I'm a greedy boy. I'm buying up those Bitcoin miners for some more exposure, but also I'm tranching in, and I may take a haircut on this tranche, and then reload that a little bit lower. But basically, where I'm at is I have a starter that's up about 40% now on APLD. And I'm sitting
Nice.
here going, well, I should have added sooner. But now they're all confirming together, and I'd rather add a little bit, not perfectly,
Uh-huh.
but get more leverage on and be ready to build into it. And that's kind of where I'm looking at for that. For SPY, didn't cut deep enough for me for like a position or like a swing trade ad. For the scalp, you nailed this. But for me, I would have needed a little deeper to get that mean reversion on an hourly chart to the downside in the context of a big explosive upchart. Oh, you're on my screen. I can show that real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah. I'm on your screen.
So, for example, on the daily chart, strong uptrend on this oscillator, and then we start trading sideways on the oscillator, basically cooling off. Meanwhile, while we're cooling off momentum, it's actually consolidating sideways and then breaking out further. So this has reset the tape, whereas essentially you can look at the price we're at now. You can think about it like we're down here in terms of how stretched we are. We've kind
Hmm.
of reset the tape that much, and that's a bullish divergence because price
Yep.
went up while RSI cooled off. So now we're seeing that kind of I'll zoom in here to see we're kind of lifting off up this again. Very, very nice. Very bullish on the daily. Because of that, I just go on down and say, all right, we are overbought on this 4-hour. You can keep being overbought. See, we were overbought here, kept grinding higher. So it's not a reason to get out. But it is a reason to say, hey, if we get dips, for example, okay, the hourly here, that cross bearish. We see this happen every couple days, even in this uptrend. So on this hourly crossover, we were up pre-market, then we faded in the day, but it would have been a good time to add into that longer term uptrend once we get the bullish crossover on the hourly there. So you could say end of day, all right, I'm nibbling some. We just reset the hourly trigger. Then you can say, oh, the next day I was wrong. We need to go even deeper. But then at the end of the day, you get another bullish crossover, just showing that bulls are still there. And those ended up being really nice areas to add. And I'd love to see that again, where we're overbought, we got the crossover. Here's another example. Overbought, got the crossover. And then you have to wait until the next day. And actually, you don't get it until pre-market this session, but a gap up confirms this, and then you have the beautiful trend day.
Yeah, that was
so that's what I'm talking about. Mean reversion on one time frame, but I'm still trading directionally for sure.
Can you believe I was long at that exact level? What's that on the SPY? 7? Yeah, where you're at right now.
722-ish, or wait,
no, lower. Wait, right at the open on the Asia. What is it on SPY?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on an hourly chart. I'm throwing you.
Yeah. No, go. You could stay on the hourly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was long yesterday, last night, and I was like, this is not gonna work. And I got out and then woke up this morning, and it was just to the moon.
It's so hard because Dave, especially, and this is something that it's really mean how the market tends to do this, and I don't think it's a coincidence. Months and months of second guessing on the tape. Yeah. We had it was crazy. In like a 150-day span, while we were just ranging, I'll pull it up here. While we were just ranging on SPY in this hellish tight range.
This was from October to March, was it? February?
Yes, correct.
I know it was October because my birthday is in October, and I remember taking a trade around there. So
getting smoked. Yeah. Happy birthday, Dave. No, I'm kidding. So essentially, yeah. So when I go full screen, I can't see my time axis. That's interesting. But yeah, this whole period, it got people so second guessing themselves. 60% of days had an intraday reversal. It was just back and forth and back and forth.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
When you get this trend, people are so hesitant to assume that it's going to keep going overnight, keep going the next day. I'm one of them. I'm still underinvested. I bought some down here. I bought some here. Sure, not enough.
Yep. No, I did not expect such a fast rally. Isn't it like one of the fastest ever?
Yes.
I think it was 12 or 19 green sessions back to back.
Absolutely.
So it was a crazy one, and I remember that level from October to March. It was that $7,000 level on the ES that we just could not break. This was not a lucky number 7.
I hear you, man. I'm just looking at SMH. I'm like, did I pull up Soxal? No, this is the regular one. It's up 36%. It's had 2 red days.
Yeah.
But each red day,
orange days.
Well, it's a CNBC green day, I call them. Where it closed higher than the previous day, even if the candle was red. So we call that a win. We call that an all-time high.
Indeed.
Closed at all-time highs. Okay, if you say so.
Oh man.
I mean, what can you say other than I hedged with Thoxess? That got blown out pretty quickly. I closed that before the AMD earnings because I wasn't willing to. I was like, they're this strong into the print. I can't.
You can't do it. Can't do it.
Felt like stepping in front of a freight train. I took a -7% on that hedge. Thank the good Lord I held on to most of my MU. I still trimmed too early, but this one's a good one. And
that's a good one.
Sorry, I'm getting distracted here. What were we talking about?
No, you're fine. Actually, I wanna go back to gold because we've had so many requests for gold, so I want to remind myself. Let's go back to gold. Let's see what's going on gold. So I'm gonna pull up my screen really quickly because that is the level I had started to warn about this morning. So we're pulling back from that initial high there. I know, Justin, you were long gold around 4,700. I don't know if you were taking an intraday trade or what you were taking, but we tapped into this area here and we're pulling back. Now, this does not mean that we cannot continue to push higher, but it is a decision making area here, right? So at least intraday,
No, I'm
you
with you
want to
there.
consider that. So it might just be a pullback, just like I showed here. Maybe we move this higher. It might just be something like that where we retest that point of control there, find some buyers again, and then continue to oscillate higher, especially because that would align. Well, it does align with that nice little wedge that we had here pre-market. So we'll see, but just keep that in mind intraday. Oh, nice. You got out at 47.15. So a 15 point win
Ooh,
there for you. Nice. Or more. I don't know where you got in exactly. So
15
good
points a
on you.
day. That keeps the doctor away, let me tell
It
you.
does. It does. It does.
I usually shoot for a 10-point straight move, and if I get it really clean, I'm usually done for the day, on
Yeah.
futures at least.
Yeah. Gold, 10 point, 15 point move is great. If you're trading GC, that's $100 a point. So it's pretty nice. If you're trading the micros, $10 a point, still very nice as well.
Yeah,
So
and just
so yeah.
just remember, guys, think in terms of account size, right? So don't
Yeah.
worry if you're. It's not bad to trade the micros. If your account's micro sized, that's not. It won't be for long. Just do the right thing, you know. Just
Exactly.
trade what you can actually trade reasonably.
Trade what makes sense, right?
Hmm.
And I know some people have been asking because they're kind of making the transition to futures, and you're trying to think, okay, I'm passing this challenge. How do I size? How do I risk? Whatever. So for me, at least, I have statistics, so I know kind of how to approach it. But the thing you want to think about is, okay, what's the account size? How much risk do I have? So, for example, if you're trading a 25K rebate or base camp on the future side, me, I'm risking an average of $100 a trade. Doesn't matter the asset I'm trading, but I know on average the worst I'll get is about five red trades back to back when I'm
Yeah.
really not on my game. And then risk reward on the low end, I know I'm about that. I mean, not risk reward, win rate. When I'm really trading bad, I'm at about 38, 40%.
Hmm.
And on the high end, I think I'm around 64 last time I checked. So it's usually a 50-50 for me. So
Yeah.
based on that, I know, okay, I could take about 7 to 8 trades before I blow up the account, and that's how I determine the risk. Now, if you're taking the bigger account, the 50K, you could keep that same level of risk, but you have about 15 trades before you blow up. So you want to give yourself uh, the best amount of trades. Now, if your stats are different, maybe if you have a 30% win rate, but you get those huge 10-to-1 trades, well, maybe you want to approach it differently. But it's going to depend on everyone's trading. But you just want to, bottom line, give yourself the best chance of succeeding by allowing yourself to take multiple trades. I
I
don't know
love
what's your
that.
take on that.
No, I love it. And I just wanted to touch on I love how you know your win rates when you're hot and when you're not, too, because that's so important to know your own kind of range of variability. And it just made me think, Dave. I was playing this silly game with my friends last night. It's this new game called like gambling with your friends or something. You basically go into a casino and you all share the same bankroll, and yada yada. But there's hot machines and there's cold machines for slot machines, and
Uh,
sometimes you're hitting that slot machine, you're like, this isn't working. I know what I usually would hit at. I know what 50% looks like. This ain't it, right? So
yeah,
the faster you can recognize that, the better. Sometimes the only thing you can do is recognize that something is off and you
yeah,
just stop hurting yourself, right? So
exactly.
sometimes something is off and that slot machine of my trading is hitting at 30, 40%. And usually after three, four, that's where I'm like, I can't deny it anymore. And I gotta just say, all right, I
Yeah.
gotta be the risk manager department for myself. Say, just pull them off, get them off.
Yep.
You can
Yep.
trade tomorrow, but not today. You know?
Exactly. 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 And sometimes today is actually a good example where I was taking trades, I was taking sensible trades. I
Mhm.
was in every single trade was a profitable trade. I could have taken profits twice. It wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. I was being greedy. I guess it's Wednesday, greedy day. Um but when also sometimes it's not you being off your game, it's the asset not behaving in a way that aligns with your trading. I like trends, I like follow through, and we're not getting that follow through. So I decided, okay, it's not worth taking any more shots. And I could have gotten in on this breakout here, but
Mhm.
is this going to just be a wick and move back down? At this point, having tried about 3 times, I don't have the mental capital anymore to take another trade here. So you just let this one go.
Yeah. And I love that. It's such a healthy way to look at it. Like it's like if you're on the side of a river and you see a big old fish and you really want that fish, you got your net, you're hanging out there, you're inching
Yeah.
out, inching out, inching out. If you can't reach the fish, you're not going to jump in the lake, right?
Nope.
You wait for the next fish. There will be another
Exactly.
good fish. Maybe it's not
Definitely.
that carp, it's not that beautiful fish, but you know what? You're still dry, you know?
Yeah.
So keep that powder dry, guys.
Exactly. Exactly. So we have a question here from uh is it Atharva? All right, Atharva. Before I take that question, guys, I want to remind you, please give us a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. Subscribe if you're not. All right. I got Super Steve in the house with me. So remember to like and subscribe. Now, let's take this
Mhm.
question here. What is the best RR you think for trading in futures? What is the best risk reward? I think this
Like,
is a very
mhm.
how could I say personal question. It's going to depend on how you trade. Um I can only speak for myself. Usually I'm trading the indexes and I'm trying to take 2 to 1, 3 to 1 risk reward trades based on how I trade. And I will have what I consider to be pretty wide stops. So, for example, on the Nasdaq, I'm risking 50 points on average to make 100, 120, 150, based on the fact that the Nasdaq moves 300 plus points a day. So I know I could capture at least 100 and 150 points. So that's what works for me. And also on average, I'm like a 50-50 trader. So I'll be right half the time. So, a 1 to 1.5, 1 to 2 risk reward is fine for me to be profitable. Now, it's going to depend on how you trade. I mean, if your win rate is lower and you need better R trades, and you need those 5 to 1, 10 to 1 type of trades, well,
Right.
that's going to depend. I don't know for you, Steve. What do
I
you
love that.
think
Sorry.
is the best RR? No, do your thing. Do your thing.
There we go.
Um,
Sorry, just got an alert that I had to manage there. I love that. I think I love a little bit of a contrarian answer. The
got it.
best
I
risk
like it.
reward. I like everything you said, by the way. Totally agree. All I will say is this is contrarian to what most people think. I think
Hmm.
you'll probably agree with me here. For me, the best risk reward is not the highest risk reward. It
Yeah.
is when the risk reward is good, like you're saying. I love 2 to 1. I love 3 to 1. Usually if I'm getting over that, I realize I am betting on something happening that's maybe 30% probabilistically, a 30% probabilistic outcome, maybe 40%, because if you're saying I'm risking one to get five, and that's like what your go-to is, you're probably not going to have a 50% hit rate.
Yep.
And what I would say is I started doing a lot better not looking for those snipes. If they come, sure, absolutely, you get that beautiful risk reward, it starts working immediately. But then how I look at it is I am not going down with the ship, it just started working immediately. I got the snipe, now I move my risk reward up, so essentially, like, I'm factoring in if I get into a trade and it goes up 10 points within 10 minutes and I think that there's a lot of room. Well, I have to manage my risk to the price we're at now and not the price that I entered in. I can't stick to that 5 to 1 risk reward. I have to keep adjusting that to protect my
Hmm.
gains as it goes up. So often I do my best trading when I'm shooting for 1 to 1 moves that I have a very high likelihood of hitting because I've seen the setup thousands of times. I know it's pretty likely to hit, probably 60, 70%. It doesn't need to be a 5 to 1 risk reward. And so I can get 4 of those looks before I get one of those 4 to 1, 5 to 1 looks. And I'd rather just compound because then
Yep.
I'm distributing the chances of me going psycho and going down with any one trade and like moving goalposts or whatever else. It rarely happens, but every once in a while I'll see a setup that I can't quite shake. So if I'm just getting more at bats, I know that my edge will prevail. If I'm
Yep.
sticking with one trade a day and it's got to be perfect, well, then I'm more inclined to see what I want to see and not stop out of that. My one trade, my one chance to make money, you know? So for me, that's a really limiting mindset that I had to get out of. And that's what I'd say there.
Nice, nice, nice. I like that take. And it's funny that you're saying that because that is exactly, if we consider today, that should have been my approach today because twice I was getting that 1-to-1 risk reward.
Mhm.
I was getting profit. And had I gotten out, that would have ended up being a 2-to-1 day for me, just taking those 1-to-1.
Mhm.
Now, forcing myself to look for what I wanted, the asset to give me, and it wasn't coming, it wasn't happening. I wasn't getting that 2-to-1 risk reward trade.
Mhm.
I ended up break even. So no profits were made because of me trying to get that trade that I wanted to see. So I like that contrarian take here, and it's interesting that we actually got to see it with the way I was trading today. You know,
Absolutely. And this was a really good day for multiple types of case studies, I think, that you guys got to see live. So really, really good stuff here. Definitely a lot of clippable stuff in my book. Another thing here is, hey, this was a great little case study for our Gex profile here and how it just, I mean, me and Dave were both saying, man, that's a scary red candle. But
yep,
the only through line was that there was just relentless pressure to the, oh yeah, perfect, relentless pressure to the upside. And I'll just show you. This is the SPX chart on my left, and we have the Gex profile on the right. You see the big pin up at 73.50, and now you're actually seeing this node above at 73.60 starting to build out too. So that's on watch for sure. But the big thing to note here is that this big level came on the tape when we were trading down here.
yep,
And the level showed, hey, the magnet is up here. So it was a pretty clear directional skew on this gamma exposure here. There's not a big node to the downside that might
hmm,
balance this out and get us stuck in chop. It was a clear trend there, and so this is where I consider Gex like the hidden. It's like looking behind the curtain. Pay no
hmm,
attention to the Gex behind the curtain because that's what market makers are saying. They don't want you to know this stuff. This was not something that you could access easily 5 years ago, even a year or two ago.
yeah,
So I mean, I do believe we're in the golden age of retail trading, and this is just one tool that I use. Many tools, but just remember, guys. Just because this is for SPX, you don't have to trade options on this. I sure don't. I scalp futures off of this, or shares. So just putting that out there. I know some people are like, well, I don't trade options. Why would I look at this? Because if you don't trade the options can still trade you. So
exactly.
that flow definitely has power, and that's what we're seeing. This kind of riptide of, hey, the market wants to go up. If you're saying this is too high and big candle, I got a short. Sorry, Dave. I
No, it's
I
fine.
get it, but it's like you got to have the confluence with this kind of the currents underneath. I would say this
Yep.
is just something
Seeing
that.
seeing what's under the hood.
And to be fair, it doesn't always work this cleanly, but that's the thing. Sometimes it does. And
Hmm.
when it doesn't, you will see that confliction. Like you'll see the big bar in the bottom, and then I'll go, well, I don't have a strong bias to buy this dip, for example. And also to be clear, I'm not good at overruling my brain while talking, so I didn't even take the trade. What I did
Yeah.
do is I mentioned a few times, just adding into those other high beta trades I have. So I'm okay with this, but but that would have been a massive move if you guys caught
It
that.
would have been a massive move, and it's interesting that we have this take, and I pulled it up on my chart as well. We're gonna look at it right after we take this question from
Oh,
Atharva.
yeah, I like that. Mind if
Uh,
I read that? It's
yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Atharva saying, I have a 1 to point 0.5 risk reward, or 2 to 1, either way, same thing. And I have a 75 to 80% win rate. Beautiful, beautiful. So that means that you're a very systemic trader. You know what you're looking for, and that's what you're describing here, saying that I only trade orb in index. So opening range break in the index, beautiful. So basically, what I love about this is you're taking so many variables and throwing them out the window. Doesn't
Yep.
matter, all this stuff. You're focusing on what really matters, which is a replicable system on the index. The index is always going to give a trade. It's not going to be like a small cap, which maybe it just will never fulfill these systems if the liquidity requirements aren't there.
Hmm.
But the indices always have liquidity. If you always have liquidity, you always have liquidity sweeps, you always have range breaks, you always have pivots and levels to play or to define that risk off of. So shout outs to Atharva and you guys. If you're sitting here going, man, that seems very structured. I didn't even think about that. Well, start thinking about it because that's a big level up when you're really defining things and systematizing things to this level. Really
Yep.
nice stuff, Atharva. Good stuff.
Really nice, really nice. Now, just for me to add on that take, he's saying, "Do you think I should go with futures first or CFDs?" Well, we're a little biased here because this is a futures channel,
Yeah.
so I would say you could go with the futures because you're going to get that leverage. We all love leverage as speculators. Now it's going to depend on what you prefer. What there's a lot of things to factor in. What I would say is don't limit yourself. There's nothing that says you can't try both, right?
Yeah.
You can try. The advantage with the fibers is we have those CFD accounts. If you're in the states, like Steve was talking about, you can trade with C Trader. You could also try the futures. I'm
Yeah.
biased here. I would say try the futures first. But yeah, don't limit yourself there. And then trade a pool. You can try those Qs and those pies. So I would say just try everything, and then you will find what works for you. This is what I did. I tried a bunch of things. I never tried forex though,
Mhm.
but yeah, don't limit yourself. Just try it, and you'll find your stride. Just do it with proper risk management, and you should be just fine. Based on your comments, you know what you're doing. So go on ahead here. Now,
Yeah.
to go back to the indexes, I just want to make a parallel, and I'm going to talk about that today. Asset selection is very, very important when you're trading stocks, but it's
Mhm.
also important when you're trading futures
Yeah.
because look at the comparison between how the NQ moved and the ES moved, right? So
Wild,
the
right?
trade I was looking for is this,
Yeah, yeah. And
right?
Dave, I'm glad you brought it up, but I'm also confused because I'm looking at my sector strength and okay, now I'm starting to see it. So industrials are starting to cook even stronger than what do you call it?
Then the
Technology. So
tech sector.
yeah, XLI is actually 2.23% up on the day. We have real estate up 1.4%, banking up almost a full percent, and I mean that in consumer discretionary 1.3%. So oh, plus home builders up 2%. I should sort this by percentage. So basically, it's interesting seeing the market saying, "Hey, this isn't just tech, guys. This is
Yeah.
a broad-based, screaming, breadth increasing rally." And now I'm curious. I got to look up RSP too. And RSP is it hasn't broken its pre-market highs, so like we're still more risk on than just like investing in dividend stuff. But still, this is it's very interesting because usually on these crazy ripper rallies, you would assume that tech would be leading, right?
Yep.
Will tech play catch up? Will maybe that heavy tech
Maybe
slow the
we'll
market
get
down?
yeah,
Huh?
maybe we'll get an afternoon rally in power hour. I
Hmm.
don't know, or maybe this will. When we have those slow moves to the upside, especially on the indexes, this could be definitely a strong and long duration trend.
You
So,
know,
yep.
sorry to interrupt. Just what I've noticed is this pattern that kind of it's just rolling over, but it's not like
Yeah,
it's not dying.
it's
So
not
to me,
dying.
it's like slowing down in a strong uptrend, and now it's like where it either squeezes the bears that are like that looks a little curvy, a little
Hmm.
toppy. They either get squeezed out, or you could get that pressure release back down to the point of control. But right now, it sure does look like it wants to power up and through. And I just noticed this because you saw this so much after the 2021 bottom and in the 2023 rally too, just the face rip rallies where you would see this on QQQ and you would see this on SMH where it
Hmm.
would do this like do boom and you're like
Yep,
what the heck, I thought it was
you'll
slowing
get that.
down. No, it was accumulating upwards. One of the strongest patterns.
It is, yeah. You could definitely get that. And then one last thing I want to add, because I've been fooled by that many times, is you will get that slow Chinese torture drip, drip, but drip on the opposite side, where every dip you try to short because you're like, hey, it's been moving up, it's at a level, it's whatever, whatever. And then you fight that trend, and every dip, every small dip gets bought.
Mhm.
So anybody who's thinking I should be short, I should be getting short wherever, guys, do not fight the trend.
Yes.
This is cliche for a reason. People say that for a reason because you will get your face ripped out. You'll try two, three, five, 10 times to go to the opposite side, and then it just keeps getting bought, keeps getting bought, keeps getting bought.
Mhm.
So just keep that in mind. This could last 2 days going up
Yeah.
like that.
It's funny. Yeah, Dave, I call them bearskin rug days. If you're a bear, we're gonna hang you on the mantle, you know?
Yep, yep,
And
yep.
I want to just say this isn't a coincidence. It isn't a bug that you keep trying to short. It's overextended. It keeps going up. It's not out to get you. It is a mechanical squeeze, and there are a
Exactly.
lot of you out there trying to short. And when you have to eat that loss and close out, well, your buy to cover is the same as my buy to long, right? We're all
Exactly.
on the same team squeezing this thing
Exactly.
up, right? And so you
Mhm.
can't get an ego about this thing because it's not about whether it should be up or it shouldn't be up. It is mechanically going up, maybe because everybody is so bearish. That's literally the
Yep.
concept of the wall of worry. If you hear about that, that's the mechanical truth behind that kind of anecdote. So
Yep.
that always fascinates me when those kind of things. I get like the big connection moments when I'm like, oh, the thing I always heard. Now I understand why it's happening from a fun, like a mechanical level. So
Hmm.
just don't get caught in the riptide, and you'll kind of
Do not get caught in there. Do not get caught in there.
just
But
like Dave.
man,
We don't
look
have
at
to
the
be right.
buy.
We just have to not stay wrong. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. The really the correct asset for what I was looking for, what I was supposed to trade today was the SPY. I don't know why I was so hung up on trading the Qs. I don't know. I expected this face ripping
Mhm.
rally, and maybe
Me
lower
too.
your expectations.
I mean, me too. Honestly, it was not on my bingo card that SPY would be up significantly more
Yeah.
than QQQ in a face rip rally that has been up to this point led by semiconductors, photonics,
Yep.
mega caps too. They joined
Yep.
the party. So hey, party
So
time. I wonder if a little bit of it is why would I buy QQQ when I could buy super mega leverage QQQ with Bitcoin, which is finally working again. So that might be interesting too, stealing some of Tech's thunder there. I
yep.
have no
Yep.
idea. I'm
Yep.
just speculating because my Bitcoin trades are working. But
Nice. Look at that smile. Look at that smile from ear to ear. But glad that's working out for you.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Awesome there. All right, we're gonna take a last look at those commodities because we just have 3 minutes left on this stream. We've been staring at those indexes because we didn't get our trades. But I want to. Oh man, look at everything except. All right, let me just feel bad. Look at the Dow. Right,
Mhm.
even though it was a tricky one, but look at the Dows, back at
Strong.
those highs. All right, I don't feel that bad because the
Yeah.
Russells just stayed down there. All right,
Ye-
it's
Yeah,
not too bad.
if you ever want to feel better about your trade not working out, well, just look at RTY. It just never looks good. It's so sad. The amount of
Oh
times I'm like,
man,
oh, everything's breaking out. I can play the laggard in RTY and I can catch this really big catch up trade.
yeah,
And
right.
then Spy and QQQ keep going and they're all
Yeah,
selling their RTY to buy more QQQ.
yep,
I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I
yeah.
fading the
It's
trend? Why don't I
crazy.
buy
It's
this strong
crazy.
thing?
It's not even above you up, but
That that's tough.
all
Pour
right.
one out for for your small cap trader.
Okay, so back to gold. We're still pulling back right above that point of control. So kind of in a neutral area for me.
Mhm. One thing that I'm still trying to put this puzzle piece together in my brain because I know there is a connection and I'm just not sure how this connection is playing out currently. And that is the relationship between Bitcoin and gold. So between gold and
Mm,
digital gold.
let's
And
look at Bitcoin.
it's just I'm not sure if gold and silver are allowed to go crazy while Bitcoin is going crazy. I
I
think
like how you said aloud.
it's not allowed. It's not. It's grounded. Get in your room, gold. You gotta wait. You gotta wait. And I that as just speculation, but in my eyes, I kind of And see, I still got to process this, but there's some connection between these asset classes. So I am watching the gold to Bitcoin ratio chart. I am seeing gold that gold to Bitcoin trying to hold a key level, and it's essentially, yeah, 0.0053. So it's just sitting right over like the equilibrium of the level there, and it's just making me think. I'm not sure. I like the chart of gold. I like the chart of Bitcoin more, but Bitcoin is overextended. So maybe Bitcoin pulls back a little bit soon. Gold can kind of get off the floor, and then we can kind
Mhm.
of do a shimmy back and forth, put the liquidity back and forth, and then, grind up as both of them go higher. I'm still working on this, but that's the only thing that I'm a little sus on gold, unless we do see a little bit of a pullback in Bitcoin.
Yeah, you said what's the ratio you got? I'm getting
Uh,
0.1 here, but I'm doing it with the futures.
let's see. Yeah, I just did GLD over BTC
Okay.
USD personally on TradingView to get this that ratio, but it's
Yeah, I
not
like my
not
ratios
super
as
exact.
well. Okay, so all right, we got 0.053 here. Interesting, 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 interesting.
Yeah,
Got my
we'll keep an
wheels
eye.
going right there. Huh?
We'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, I in general I do like gold. I'm just more like I don't know exactly what it's going to do in the short term, so I'm just going to grab a little bit, and it's gold. It'll be all right.
It'll be fine. Yeah, just hold it long enough. That's it.
Well, I figure the worst case is, you know, if things stop working really well, eventually gold's going to be probably a good thing to hold in that regard too, in a small
Yeah,
percentage of your port. So I don't
yeah,
have any right now. I sold all of my gold and silver, not at the top,
right
but
there.
higher. Yeah.
Sold at 5,600.
To the tick, to the tick. I did sell half of my silver the day before the high, and then I
Nice.
sold the rest of that when it kind of lost that the
That
the open,
momentum.
I think, on that spike day. So I did do well on silver.
Nice.
I also bought the dip and did well there, and then got washed
Awesome.
on the rest of it. So yeah, I'm not just bragging, just
Uh,
now I think it's finally time because I'm looking at the chart, going, hey, this is where I got stopped out before and where I bought it before too. So it's a good level. It seems to be holding.
nice. Speaking of ratios, I didn't look at the my gold to silver ratio here.
Another
Let's
good one.
see. Yeah, let me look at where we're at.
And
Uh,
I view this kind of as risk on sentiment for the metals complex, the precious metals complex. If silver's leading gold, I kind of consider it like tech leading SPY. So like the risk on asset
mhm.
outperforming and showing that.
Outperforming the risk off one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, however, risk off you could consider, SPY, I guess,
Yeah.
in this analogy. But hey, yeah.
Interesting. This is pointing downwards, so that means inverse correlation. We might go up. We
So if that
held
means
pretty
that
well.
silver is stronger, and I think that's saying that money probably is speculative money is flowing into this
Yeah.
complex. Yeah,
Yep. Interesting.
which makes sense at a pivot after a higher low.
Yep.
There's still high hidden political tensions. So hey, why not? We're in the age
Why
of
not?
scarcity.
Why not? Why not? Why not? All right.
Mhm.
Interesting there. Well,
Love
it
it.
is 11 o'clock. Um, what did
It's been a fun
Sorab
one.
said? ETH, USDT. It was a fun one. It was a fun one. ETH, USDT stage. I'm not sure
I don't know what
what
it means, but
Sorab
I
is
like it
asking
because
there.
I'm a bull on Ethereum too, my friend.
I
So
guess
I
you're
think I'm
asking
my
about
favorite of the stage.
Ethereum.
In terms of like when I hear that, I think like Wyckoff stages. Like, are we in accumulation or distribution? I think we're in a stage one accumulation, trying to break out of this kind of stage one base of the past couple months, and then we're trying
Yeah.
to push up and out. That's what I'd like to see. That's
Yeah.
what I'd like to see.
That's what we would like to see. We're reaccumulating here. I think so.
Yeah, and
It's
on
just gonna
on
be. I think you're gonna have to be extremely patient on
yeah,
Ethereum.
mhm. it's
Um,
it's going to be easier to buy Bitcoin. I'll tell you that. It's
I
going to be
think
easier to
so
buy
too.
Bitcoin
And
or Bitcoin
then
miners.
and then you have there's something else affecting Ethereum is you've had many other technologies pop up,
Mm.
right? So a lot of money that would have flowed into Ethereum is going to flow into these other technologies. Not just Solana or what's the other one? I don't have the name right there, but
Cardano probably, or Ripple, or something like that.
Cardano, yeah, Ripple, but there's
Yeah,
some new ones. I forgot the name, but anyways,
so many.
so yeah, that's probably going to affect that rally there, but we shall see. We shall see. Well, it is 11:04, so we're past our time, but it's been a fun one as usual, Steve. Thank you everyone for watching the live. I'll be back tomorrow at 9, and then we will see Steve next week. So have a good one. Take
Looking
care.
forward to it. Thanks so much,
All right,
Dave.
man. Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Take care.